And we're live.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We are back with another episode of the Antler Queens. I am Medium Melanie along with...
I'm Kelly. Hey, guys.
And I'm Emily.
And welcome. We are recording another bonus episode today. We're going to talk about Shauna's baby. But before we dive in, just want to hit some quick news at the top. The Emmys are coming up. They're coming up next Monday, which is just a few days away. And, we'd like to shout out Showtime for sending us some of their cool stuff, including this Consider This yearbook that they sent along with some shirts to a bunch of fans. They put this together to kind of promote the Emmys and all of their different nominations. It's super cute. So
cute.
Thank you, Showtime. And Emily, you've got your shirt on as well. So why don't you show us your awesome shirt that Showtime sent?
It says,
Very
wish
cute.
you were here, right there.
Yes. And, they had offered to send them around Comic-Con time for fans that couldn't be there. And, also, again, to align with their Emmy stuff. So thank you, Showtime. We appreciate the merch. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
By the way, this was my favorite thing about the little Consider This yearbook thing. The boys baseball team page. So you got the girls soccer team. And and I'm sorry to anybody no, this is going to be Patreon bonus content, so they'll be getting the video anyway. So, and then the boys baseball team is just kind of team is crossed out and it says sucks with 2 X's. And then we've got the picture of the 3 adult leads pasted over it. I love that.
Yeah. Love that. That is so cool. And, speaking of the Emmys, we are planning to go live on Instagram. Once all the categories are called for Yellowjackets, they were nominated for 7 Emmys altogether. They actually did the casting already at the Creative Arts Emmys last week. And unfortunately, Yellowjackets did not win for casting, which I think is a complete travesty. Let's just, call it what it is. Like, I think fan sentiment is, that they were kind of robbed of that one. But hopefully that means, they'll be coming home with some awards on Monday night. So be sure to follow us at the Antler Queens on Instagram. That way you can get an alert when we go live for the Emmys. And we can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Gosh, imagine if Melanie Linsky and Christina Ricci both win. I mean, I can't even.
That would be so great. And it's funny because I hardly watch. I watch very little TV actually. I pretty much, if I've got the TV on, I'm either watching YouTube or Yellowjackets on repeat, or one of the other shows that I watch on repeat, or I'm watching a horror film or a documentary. That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. So I feel like I'm going to be a little lost with some of the other nominees.
Yeah, same. Same. Although I will say I'm a big fan of Ozark and Better Call Saul, which are both kind of up against Yellowjackets in some categories. I haven't watched Euphoria or Succession, which are also, very popular shows, getting a lot of traction at the Emmys as well. But I mean, the competition is stiff. We've said it before, but all we can do is, manifest a win, put it out there, send the vibes out, to the cult. I don't know, channel some winning vibes. We'll see.
I'm not cutting off my dog's heads though. Sorry.
Yes, that is where we draw the line. We do not harm animals in the making of the Antler Queens podcast, even in the name of an Emmy award. So,
although, my dog, one of my dogs did, I still have a pound puppy that one of my dogs chewed the eye off of. So, I could, that could be like my little Sammy substitute offering.
Yes.
Didn't Laura Lee's teddy bear only have one eye too?
Yeah, I think so.
Leonard might have only had one eye. That's a good one.
So.
That's a good one. And, before we dive in again, we also just want to mention we're doing something for Halloween. We haven't solidified the plan yet. It's going to involve fans. It's going to involve costumes. Emily, I know you were posting in Reddit asking for some Yellowjackets costume inspiration, and there were some pretty good ones out there, some like really meta ones, some straightforward ones. A Spirit Halloween has a Yellowjackets costume out. Gosh, maybe we should get in touch with Spirit and get like an affiliate code. Am I right?
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know, just throwing it out there. They've got the soccer uniform. I believe the numbers are also customizable, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
So anyway,
cool.
get your Yellowjackets Halloween vibes all ready. And if you want to be involved, hit us up at the Antler Queens. You know where to find us.
Yeah.
And with that, why don't we dive straight into Shauna's baby? What happened to it? Where's the baby?
Yeah.
Where's the baby? We know they don't eat the baby. Let's start with that. They've confirmed the baby will not get eaten. Christina Ricci asked and confirmed this on Jimmy Fallon a couple months ago. So they do not eat the baby. Not a thing.
I loved Melanie Linsky's response to that theory. She's like, "I'll quit the show."
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, she said she would quit. So that's not happening.
Not happening. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people would draw the line at like eating a baby, right? I mean, like there's a big difference if like a wolf steals the baby or just like is a stillborn. But like we can't be eating babies. Like so, I mean, I'm glad.
According to Hannibal Rising, that's how Hannibal Lecter became like. The bad guys ate his little sister.
Oh my god!
They were starving. So, that's how we got Hannibal Lecter. So
wow. Right? Okay. I mean, gosh, maybe there's like a spinoff in the future with Shauna's baby. Like I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, we digress. Emily, so let's start with what we feel kind of gets the whole like baby dialogue in motion.
Yes. So. When Shauna and Jeff are about to have sex in his car in the pilot, right before they have sex, Shauna says to him, "If you come inside me, I will raise the baby out of spite and train it to become a killing machine and eventually hunt you down."
Great Shauna moment.
Yes.
Delivered perfectly, as per usual.
So specific. Like that line of dialogue is so specific. I feel like they had to have put that in there for a reason.
Yeah, and I think the baby could be hunting him down right now.
Yeah, or I was thinking maybe if the baby is trained to become a killing machine, what if this child was behind Travis's death?
Yeah.
Oof. God.
That could be.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know if the baby's dead. We don't know if the baby was born and, raised by the cult to be a killing machine and some ironic supernatural karmic twist, I mean, I've got to just keep thinking like, is this all karma for Shauna, sleeping with Jeff? Does she lose the baby or does the baby stay out there, as some like, again, karmic supernatural thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's I mean, we just don't know. But we do know that this pilot script had something in there that is interesting.
Let me bring that up right now. So this was the original. This did not make it into the show. This was in the original pilot script back from like 2019, I think. And it's the scene with Callie and Shauna in the kitchen. And Shauna tells her to be home by 11 and she says, "What? That's bullshit. Molly never had a curfew." And Shauna says, "Yeah, well, your sister didn't fail trigonometry either." So there's that trigonometry.
I was just gonna say that.
Right.
But,
so Molly.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. There's also, this is something else that I wanted to bring up. In the pilot episode, excuse me, we briefly see some photos on Shauna's wall, and there is a photo of two girls, one of which I assume has to be Callie. But
probably the younger one, right? It's an older girl, younger girl situation.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The older girl, it doesn't look like there's enough of an age difference there.
Could be a cousin.
Could be a cousin.
It could be a cousin. But I feel like it would probably have to be a more distant cousin because I don't think they indicated that Shauna or Jeff have any siblings.
It's true.
So who knows? I don't think that that's like her long lost sister or anything. There's just
Yeah.
the
You're
Woods
right
baby
about
would,
the age difference. It would be a substantial age difference. And you know, there's only
Yeah.
like less than a foot between the two girls. Although they do
right.
both have like the long dark hair. I
Mhm.
mean, you know, so that's interesting. Could be familial, but we don't have a lot of background context on, you know, Jeff and Shauna's families, or I mean, you know, it could be the daughter of one of their friends.
Yeah.
I
Now,
mean, we don't know.
what exactly would the age difference be between the two? Like, if that baby was born in 96, then that baby would be 24 or
96.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Callie's
I remember.
16. So they have about 8 years in between them.
Mhm.
Yes, in
Right?
that picture, there's no chance there's an
Yeah,
8-year
yeah.
age difference. Like,
Yeah.
not a thing.
Yeah,
So
for sure. I mean, it
So-
could even be Shauna. I don't know how old that
The
picture
picture
was. Let me
is,
bring it out
yeah.
again. It could be like Shauna as a little girl
with a cousin or something,
Yeah.
right?
True.
Yeah, because the middle
True.
picture, there's another. It's another young girl, which could be either one of the girls in the other picture, and then the far picture looks like someone like throwing a baby up, maybe, or holding a baby. It's really kind of hard to tell. I can't tell. And
I
then
think
there's
you're
another
right.
baby picture under there. Oh, and now we're
There's
looking
some
at
more.
Jeff and Shauna's wedding photo, Callie, Jeff, and Shauna's family photo, and then a
Yeah.
couple more, like another young girl, and then there's one with maybe Jeff playing with a young Callie. But that one of the two girls is interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
if they initially, you know, wrote in an older sister, Molly, then it's, you know, likely that it could be, you know, the sister Molly, and then they decided not to go with it and it was a continuity thing. That could totally be. But it's
Yeah.
interesting that they would take out the sister, maybe because they thought it would create confusion, you know, with the baby in the wilderness. I don't know.
True.
But why did they get rid of Molly? Like,
Yeah, that's
where
so
is,
weird.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
I have a feeling if that was supposed to be the case, if it's just a continuity error and
Yeah.
Callie was supposed to have a slightly older sister, I have a feeling that that's probably the reason they took her out, just to like avoid confusion.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point, like, Shauna hasn't had the baby yet. So, like, other than them saying in the pilot script that, like, she had a sister, like, we don't know if she has a boy or a girl. We, like, unless they, like, stick with, like, what they were doing in the pilot and she does end up having a girl. But I've also seen theories that when Natalie gets kidnapped, the man that is with the people kidnapping her, some people have theorized that that could actually be Shauna's baby that grew up and is now a part of the cult. So if that's the case, then Shauna might have a boy.
and
Now-
it could be a 24-year-old. It looks like,
Yeah.
you know, a young enough actor to be portraying a potential child of that age.
Oh,
Actually,
there's
here's Becky Dewey Sparks from the Facebook group actually shared this side by side. She's the first one that I saw mention this, that she thought that there was a bit of a resemblance, especially with younger Jeff. I could definitely see a resemblance with younger Jeff.
I can see it. Yes. Yeah.
And here is a better picture of Jack DePew.
Oh, he's right. How old is he in real life? Is he about like mid-20s? I'll
He
Google
looks
that really quick.
young.
Let's see.
You know what?
He does look really young. Yeah, let's look it up. Let's
Yeah.
see.
I'm gonna look
Jack
him up.
DePew. How old are you, Jack DePew?
I am not.
Oh, he's
finding-
oh my god, you guys. He's 24 years old.
Wow.
He's
Of course.
24 years old. And I mean, if our math is right, which we know we have maybe questionable math sometimes, we had actually posted a Misty dating profile picture on Instagram, and there was, you know, a little confusion about the age. We did our best and, you know, guessed she was 44. But I mean, if our math is right and 24 is the thing and the actor playing the cult guy is 24, is that a coincidence? I don't know.
Well, yeah. You know what? I apologize. It's like I should have done this before, but stuff just, you know, comes to me later, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to IMDb right now, and I'm looking at the full cast and crew.
I was gonna ask, do they actually like show the guy that plays that cult member like in IMDb? Like, is he listed in the cast list?
It doesn't look like it. Yeah. It doesn't look like he's on IMDb.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, even the bartender
Really?
on there. But yeah,
Well,
yeah, interesting.
That is
Maybe that's on
fascinating.
purpose.
Ooh,
It
gosh.
could
Okay.
be. Wait, there's somebody listed as a lookout. Could that?
Oh, that could be a cult lookout person. Maybe
Yeah.
the person that was outside the door, or maybe the one that, carried her out. I don't know.
Yeah. It actually looks like it could be him. His name
would
is
seem-
Patrick Roccas, Roccas. It's he's got that weird hat on in the episode that like
a beanie almost.
yeah, but that kind of like no, that's definitely him. Oh yeah, that's Patrick Roccas, Roccas. I'm not sure if that's exactly how his name is pronounced. But yeah, if I could find I wish I could find
Oh
his
yeah,
name.
that's definitely him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know his age, but I'll have to try to find that out later.
That's so creepy. That's him.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Gosh, I love when we like uncover and investigate and use our citizen detectiving skills like live on the podcast. I feel like, we're like, we're in it to win
Yeah.
it here.
Yeah.
And
Real citizen detectives.
going back to the initial quote that Shauna delivers to Jeff, Emily, you were feeling out a lot of fan theories on Reddit. What are the fans saying about that quote? Are there some baby theories that are, kind of tied into that quote? I know, some people are saying, again, maybe, the cult kept the baby and is raising it. Maybe Shauna gave it up because she was so detached from it. Maybe, tell us about what the fans are talking about in relation to Shauna's quote.
All right, here's a couple. I'll start with this one. It survives and is leading the cult. I suspect some kind of prophecy around the baby, and it has special significance and power in the cult, which is still operating in the current day. Leaving the baby behind was the price Shauna paid to get her, Taissa, Misty, Natalie, and Travis out of the cult and back to civilization. And that was Reddit user IlBZ01.
Okay.
There's Lottie somehow kidnapped and raised Wilderness Baby. Shauna left the woods, deciding to repress the memory and believe the child didn't make it. Older Wilderness Baby is the person taunting the living Yellowjackets at Lottie's behest, which I really like that. That's Reddit user Ralph Waldo Pickle Chip.
Oh, I like that username, by the way. Pickle Chip. Love pickles. Love dill pickles. Oh my God, you guys.
Me too.
I like this one too. Well, there's two more. As they're about to get rescued, Lottie takes the baby and runs because she thinks it is like a reincarnation of a god. Shauna tries to go back for the baby, but Natalie or Misty make her get rescued instead. The search party does not find Lottie, the baby, and the others left behind. And that's Reddit user Utopian Library.
I love these theories. It's so much fun.
There's so many creative ones.
Oh my God. And and I was getting back to, and I won't go on too much about this because it's kind of a different subject, but getting back to the whole leaving people behind issue. I mean, I think, I assume that there was some sort of settlement that came out of it. And I'm thinking that like there had to be some sort of investigation maybe.
Oh, there has to have been an investigation.
Yeah, for a settlement, they have to do something, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like they would have gone back.
To the woods.
The team would have gone back to like further investigate.
I mean, they could be hiding in the underground mine, though, too, right? Like maybe they just weren't found. Maybe they're in the mine. I mean, that's a possibility, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like the second group, if people were left behind, I feel like the second group could have been found by the investigative team that went back, and the baby could be part of that. But then I feel like everybody would know about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yes. And that's the thing, if they came back, everybody would know about the Wilderness Baby. That baby would be so famous. That baby would have been on the cover of the Us Weekly magazine we saw, baby survives, plane crash, So, I mean, from that perspective, either the baby died or the baby is still out there and nobody knows it exists. And we were chatting beforehand, and Jackie's parents, if
Mhm.
if they knew that the baby was out there, they'd probably be a little bit more bitter towards Shauna than they already are, which we know they don't love her necessarily, or if that's just their personality. But if there was a baby, I feel like there would be a little more animosity between them as well.
Yeah.
And then,
Especially with losing their daughter.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely,
I
absolutely.
mean, I'm sure that losing Jackie, I'm sure if they knew they had a grandchild out there, they would want to be involved in that
Oh
child's life
yeah.
somehow. I mean,
Absolutely.
like I mean, even just as a replacement for Jackie, I mean,
Yeah.
like it's I can't imagine that would be something that they would have come to terms with very easily.
I've
So,
seen people like theorize that it could be possible that the baby survives and like that the baby's grown and that we just haven't been introduced to the baby yet. But like you said, like that's probably not very realistic, because if that baby was known about, like you said, that baby would be on the cover of every magazine. Like
yeah.
that's a huge story to add to the already huge story of them being stranded out in the wilderness. Like a baby born in the middle of the woods and living out there for like, it wouldn't be 19 months. I think it would be around like 10 months that the baby would be like when they were rescued, if the
Yeah.
baby lives. So I don't really think that one's realistic, just because of the reason that you said.
Right. And, I mean, it's possible the baby lives. Babies can survive on mother's breast milk, although obviously we know too that Shauna's nutritional needs are probably not being
Yeah.
met. But she is a teenager, I mean, she's younger. If they are able to get enough, meat and protein to survive, perhaps the baby could have survived breastfeeding. And, if the supernatural stuff's in play, we know the woods are trying to keep them there. When they tried to
Mhm.
escape, all these different things happened and they had to come back. So imagine, a life being brought into the wilderness and being born there. I feel like that's like next level. And if that is a thing, then, the woods want the baby to stay there. So,
Yeah.
there's the healing part too, right? Like Van has overcome all these things and has her Energizer Bunny, like 9 lives situation. I mean, what if those powers are in play for the baby and that actually helps the baby survive? Alternatively, people are saying that they use the baby as like a sacrifice, and the
That's one of my
baby
theories.
does not survive. What are they saying about sacrificing babies, Emily?
Well, I think that it's possible, and I know a lot of other people do that, like you just said. If the baby is sacrificed, then the baby has to be born alive, like, because you can't sacrifice
Right.
something that's already dead. But
Yep.
I'm kind of thinking that if that is the route that they go, like maybe it's because like they know the baby isn't going to survive. So they think that, okay, we know that like we don't have the means to take care of this baby. This baby is not going to live. So let's just get it out of the way now, and we will sacrifice this baby for the good of everyone else, because that sacrifice will lead us to nourishment and food and safety and security. So, and I know other people think that as well. A lot of people say that the baby gets sacrificed to the forest gods. Like when we see Lottie placing that heart in the tree stump at the end of season 1, like it'll be something sort of similar along those lines, like a sacrifice like that.
Oh my God, I just thought of something, like Ty's altar with Sammy's doll on it. Like,
Yes.
what if
Mhm.
that's like a metaphor for a
Yes.
sacrifice they made in the woods? Like, what if she's recreating like the baby sacrifice and using Sammy's doll as, some kind of like substitute for that? I don't know, just throwing it out there. But
I saw a crazy theory that somebody said that the baby on the altar was supposed to symbolize Shauna's actual baby, and that they're like praying to the baby because the baby has some sort of like significant meaning, and like the baby is like like the baby would have to be raised in the cult for that to happen and like be a member of the cult, but like people like they might view the baby as this like messiah, and they
God.
pray to the baby, and the baby becomes like a key part of their cult.
Oh my God, that makes me think of some of Sammy's drawings.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, those drawings are so specific. How would that little kid know what happened to his mom to make those crazy drawings?
They're
Oh my
trying to get
God.
him. He's
Yeah.
seen the cult.
Oh my God, you guys. This is like groundbreaking news.
And remember when he was hiding in the armoire?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
And oh God. Okay. It's funny because when we started this, and I had the same reaction to I had the same kind of feeling going into the Pit Girl episode. I felt like, God, what are we gonna talk about for that long? And now I feel like we could just go on forever about this.
I love the way
have,
we chat.
sorry.
Sorry, Emily.
No, go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say I love the way we like banter, about stuff. Like it's really. I mean, we brainstorm as we're going, and it's
Yes.
a nice. It's nice, I feel like we're just like sitting around chatting with our girlfriends about some Yellowjackets. No big.
Yeah. See, what would be interesting to know is Sammy's genetics. Is he the birth child of either Ty or Simone, or is he adopted?
I personally feel like Simone is his birth mother.
Yeah.
I feel like she's very protective over him, and she's very insistent that he get this help. Like, she seems more in tune with him than
More
Taissa
maternal.
does. Yes,
Much
absolutely.
more maternal. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
I agree. I can't see. I don't know. Like I feel like Simone is a lot more nurturing than Taissa.
Yeah.
I feel
for
like
sure.
if one of them were to get pregnant, it would be Simone.
that makes sense. And Ty was so career focused, just from the
Yeah.
perspective of like her staying in the workforce and working, and maybe Simone, being more of like the stay at home parent.
Yeah.
I mean, that would definitely make sense and track with Ty's personality.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a good assumption. I think either that Sammy is either adopted or Simone's birth child. I really like the idea that I mean, if he was Taissa's birth child, like that would make him. I feel like that would make him even more interesting to the cult.
That's so true.
And
Yeah.
maybe there's a genetic component to some of the things he's seeing too. We know that when Ty was younger, she saw, eyeless Michael Jackson, as we were calling him, when her grandmother was passing or whatever. So, maybe if it is Ty's son, there is like this like genetic like thing going on where they have these visions. Maybe it's genetic. Assuming he's Ty's son, we don't know, but
I mean, he could
biological
even
son, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? He could even be like, I mean, they could have used, I don't know if Taissa has any siblings, but if she has a brother, they could have used like
Oh
her
yeah,
brother as a sperm donor.
That's
and
true.
That's true.
And Simone carried him. So he could be the biological child of like Simone and Taissa's brother or something, and that would still give
The
him
genetic disposition. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of something interesting to think about.
Oh my
God, I need to go back and watch everything with Sammy now.
Well, good timing, since we are going to do our Thai deep dive episode next. So that's like perfect timing. But back to Shauna's baby, Emily, what are some other like wild theories that people have been throwing out on Reddit?
This is one that I personally like created myself, I guess. It stems from the quote that like we talked about at the very beginning. I was trying to make sense of like how that quote could relate and like be implemented in the show. Like, how could this baby end up becoming like a killing machine if the baby survives? So I was thinking that I think that Jackie's death is obviously going to traumatize Shauna and immensely. And I think that might impact her ability to care for this baby when the baby comes. So in that case, I was thinking that it might be possible that Lottie develops like a very special relationship with the baby, because I think if the baby lives, I think Lottie's going to place significance around the fact that the baby was born in the wilderness, because we all know that Lottie has some weird tie to the forest. She's in tune with what's going on out there. So I think that she would really think say to them, like, this baby was born here, like that means something, and that's going to mean something to Lottie. So I think that it's possible that Lottie could end up developing like a very special relationship with this child. And if you go along with the assumption that not all of them are rescued, when they're all rescued, I'm thinking maybe it's possible that Lottie wasn't rescued because Lottie was presumed dead. And in that case, the baby was with Lottie, and Lottie had the baby when they were rescued. So Shauna just chose to never say anything about the fact that she had ever been pregnant, because the baby was no longer a part of the equation anymore.
And she got pregnant from her best friend's boyfriend. So that's not something she probably wanted to broadcast anyway.
Exactly. And in that case, I think that Lottie would obviously raise the baby to grow up in this cult and somehow train this baby to become like an assassin or a killer. And the child is going to end up doing the dirty work for the cult. And it's possible that maybe the child could even be behind Travis's murder or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good, that's definitely an intriguing theory for sure.
That's one of my more like off the wall ones that I don't think will happen, but anything is possible.
Yeah,
Someone talked about the symbol having some significance for the baby, which didn't make as much sense to me because the symbol was pre-existing and already in the wilderness. But I believe it was someone saying, Lottie interpreted it in a way that somehow tied into the baby staying out there, or, there's some symbolism in, something about the symbol and the baby being out there. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, the symbols are already there. So again, it would be something like interpretive by Lottie, but I don't know what. I mean, the hook there, like, could tie into like it's like abortion-y, right? Like, I don't know. But again, that symbol also ties into hobo code or maybe moon cycles. That's another whole discussion, which we will cover an episode on the symbol. Don't worry. But
Lottie is also the only one that has noticed the symbol at this point, like, and placed any significance on it. Like, except for when they do the seance and Jackie says, like, let's put the candles on these symbols because it's so seance-y.
Yep.
The only other one that pays any close attention to it is Lottie. She notices it on the tree. She touches the tree with her hand. Like, I think Lottie is going to be the one that puts meaning behind it for sure. But like you said, we'll talk about that on another episode.
And I kind of expanding a little bit and branching out from your theory, Emily. So when Taissa's group went off, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't that. They were commenting on that. Okay, when they found the plane, and Lottie said it didn't want him to leave.
Yeah.
I think it's possible if the Woods don't want them to leave. I think it's possible that Shauna's baby being born could make that possible to get them out of there, but the Woods wants the baby. And
right, as kind of a sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
We keep the baby, you guys get your lives, even trade.
Yeah. And so maybe Lottie actually decides to stay there with the baby, and maybe like kind of bring some civilization back. Like, I don't know. I mean, she's rich. Like she could get herself a little plane, and bring supplies back and forth. Who knows? Maybe she decides to raise the baby out there.
Yeah.
And I do think it's worth noting that, and we briefly mentioned this in our last episode on Misty, but the photo that was shared on Instagram of the pilot episode with the slate, it said present timeline. I took a closer look at the photos. That is definitely the cabin.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the cabin in the present timeline.
Unless it's another cabin
that
it's not the same one that like they were in the wilderness, like to tie back to Adam and how he suggests to Shauna to go to the cabin in the Poconos. Like maybe there's a secondary location, but I mean, I'm assuming that it's the cabin.
I mean,
Yeah.
or they just did it to fool us. It could just be
That's
a
true.
total trick. They could just, I mean, now that they know how crazy the fandom is, like maybe it's just like a big trick. Ooh, let's see what the fandom's going to speculate on the slate, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like the cabin though. You know, we've got the picture up right now. It looks like the cabin, and again, the slate says present day. So I feel like we're like 85% likely to see the cabin in season 2, hopefully in the pilot. I mean, they don't film things in order. So even if they started filming that doesn't necessarily mean that's the first thing that we'll see. But there's nothing more that I would like to see than Juliette Lewis at the cabin in season 1 of episode 2. I mean, that would be like an amazing opener. Although the leaked scripts that we saw on Vimeo, right, from the auditions, I believe.
I did not see that.
Oh, you did not see. They took them down. I feel like they
Yeah.
had them on Reddit. There was like audition tapes from Vimeo, and it was, I believe, was it Adult Van or Adult Lottie that was in a cafe with Nat? Like
They
it
were in a
was
pizza shop.
a pizza shop. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it was Adult Lottie.
Adult Lottie, okay,
Yep.
and Nat. So it's interesting that they would meet in a public place like that. So like
Yeah.
Lottie can't be that much, you know, hiding out if she's just making a casual appearance in a pizza place, you know, with Nat.
I remember in the script too, like the worker at the pizza place, like came up to them while they were talking and says to Lottie, like, you can't be in here. Like you and your group can't be in here. Like you lavender wearing weirdos or something like that. And like, you're not welcome in here. Like basically like calling them a cult. And she was very calm about it and said like, we'll leave. But the pizza shop owner like recognized her and didn't want them in their establishment.
Interesting.
Speaking of the lavender, that was another good Halloween costume idea you had, Emily, wearing lavender scrubs with the symbol necklace and being, you know, one of the cult members. I mean, that's a pretty easy costume. That's not too bad
so
either.
easy.
I like that. I like that. There's so many good ideas there. Oh my God.
I'm super excited about my costume.
we need to put your picture out there again from our Doom Coming episode when you dressed up as the Antler Queen, Kelly. That was like my favorite thing. I loved that. I loved your Antler Queen costume. Oh my God.
I feel like I can never. That's the veil thing is like it's actually like a lace shrug that I happen to love, and I feel like I can't wear it anymore because I'm so cool with that.
Oh my God.
And the fact that it just looks like a giant doily to me now.
Right. But the antlers really like made the outfit. That was incredible.
The cheesy Christmas antlers. Yeah.
Yes.
So do you think that like it's possible that the baby is just like stillborn, or
I don't think
she
so.
miscarries before? I think she's actually too far in her pregnancy now to miscarry. Like I think she would go in active labor
and have a stillborn versus having a miscarriage.
I mean, we've seen how well Van healed from the wolf attack.
And surviving being caught on fire. Let's not forget about that.
Yep.
Shouldn't have survived.
Almost twice, because she almost got caught on fire in the plane too.
Yep.
I do not think anything's happening to that baby. I don't think the woods are gonna let that happen.
That's interesting.
Whatever spirit.
I like that.
Yeah. I think that baby's gonna be protected by the same supernatural forces that saved Van. And
if that's the case, then I feel like the baby has to be with the cult. Like, because like we've said already, like if that child was known about like by the world, then like unless they're just trying to misdirect us and like we just haven't met the adult child yet, but I don't see that happening. Like, so if the baby's alive, I feel like it just makes the most sense for the baby to be with the cult.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, also there was when Shauna, I forget which episode this was. I think it might have been when she was looking up. I think it was either when she was Googling herself or when she was Googling Adam. There was a and I'm sorry, I actually tried to find a screenshot and I couldn't find one, but there was a like a little headline blurb that showed up on the search page that included Lottie as one of the people that died.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was Lottie, Jackie, and Laura Lee. And so, I mean, that's why, like you said, the baby being the baby's the baby getting out of there would have been a bigger deal.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it's really possible that Lottie could have just been presumed dead, or like just allowed herself to be presumed dead and stayed behind with the baby.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that they list Lottie as not a survivor, but not Van. So that means, like Van did make it out. And I mean, we know she made it out anyway, obviously, since they've cast Lauren Ambrose. But, so if Van made it out, where did she go? Is she in hiding? Is she not with the cult then? Are they all with Lottie? I mean, we assume Van is part of the cult, right? Like,
Jessica Roberts says that a lot of them love to live off the grid. So I thought maybe that might have been in reference to Van too.
Yeah, that could be. And I mean, Travis was off the grid. He changed his name and all that stuff. I wonder if Van changed her name. I wonder have we seen them say, adult Vanessa Palmer? I mean, specifically with Lauren Ambrose. Like, I wonder if she has an alias or something. Just throwing it out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
I feel like as adults though, like Van was literally Lottie's first follower, like the first one to believe in her. So I feel like as adults, that's just more. Like I could see Van being like her enforcer or something like that.
And right-hand woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Van, no, Van wouldn't have stayed behind because then she would have been listed as, as also having died.
Exactly.
Yeah, that made me think, like, does that mean that like everybody else makes it out? Like
Mari,
but
Yellowjackets.
That would disprove the theory that Mari is Pit Girl.
Yeah. And Javi wasn't mentioned either. It was just those three.
Unless like it was just the article title and like you could just see the first like sentence of the article, and maybe further in they listed more people that didn't survive.
It could also just be a continuity error and they switched things up and just didn't take that out,
That's true. Yeah.
Who knows?
I just keep going
Laura
back.
Lee actually was supposed to originally die in
the plane crash, and they upgraded her to more of a regular.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But like the age of the actor playing the cult guy being 24, like how is that? I mean, that's so spot on.
Yeah.
Well, Jack DePew is 24. That's the guy that plays Teen Jeff. Did you say? Wait.
No, I thought the other guy was 24.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I thought maybe I messed it up. Wait. Oh, wait. Maybe it is Jack DePew who's 24. I thought it was the cult guy though. Hold on.
I don't know if his age is listed.
Okay, so you know what? I take that back. I was wrong. So
yeah, it was Jack.
It was Jeff. Okay, so he's 24. Okay, so not the cult guy actor. Okay, totally. God.
But we'll have to find that out for sure.
Yes, but I will say that he does look young enough to be like he looks totally young. I mean, he looks like he could totally be Teen Jeff.
I mean, Kevin Allen is what, like 30 or 31 or something, playing a teenager. So
right. I mean, they've done that for years, like, I mean, God, 90210 was like the worst. Gabrielle.
Oh my God, Brian Austin Green was how old?
Well, he was one of the youngest. He was like 17, but
was he? I thought he was older.
Him and Tori Spelling were pretty young, but Gabrielle Carteras and Ian Ziering were like well into their 20s, and I mean, it's a pretty.
Did either of you ever watch One Tree Hill before?
I watched it.
That's another one where like they're supposed to be high school students and they just look like it's not even close to being believable.
The new Saved by the Bell, one of the high school actors is 31 years old. Like I finally watched that, and it's funny because they kind of like make fun of themselves. They have these older actors dressed up as like high school cheerleaders, kind of like making fun of like the age thing with the actors. So it's pretty funny, but yes, cult guy.
So then
to do some more digging on him.
Yes, we need some age. We need some age, some actual data and numbers on this guy.
Yes.
So then
we're gonna stalk you, Patrick, if you're listening if you're out there listening to this somehow.
And sorry about getting that 24 thing, confused with Jackie too. Sometimes we just go through so many rabbit holes, and like
it's hard to keep track.
It is hard to keep track. So sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you both think then that it's not likely that the baby dies or the baby's stillborn or anything like that? Like, neither of you are on board with those theories.
I'm definitely not.
I go back and forth because I feel like it would almost be a cop-out for them to just kill the baby off. Like, there's so much drama around the fact that she's pregnant in the wilderness, like how hard it's going to be for her, like what it would be like if she actually had this baby. And that would add so much to the plot if the baby survived.
Yeah.
It would.
Oh, I'm sorry, Melanie.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, going back to the quote, like every single time it comes back to the quote for me. Like, I just feel like that is so intentional. And this is a highly serialized, like 5 seasons ordered, like it's a piece of the puzzle. And for me, like, the baby has to be alive because of that quote.
No way that quote wasn't foreshadowing. No. It has to be.
There's so much dialogue in the pilot that I feel like is so crucial to the first season and probably the whole series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's going back to Lottie. I think it was the Doom Coming episode. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Lottie says to maybe Natalie or somebody else, like, it's in you, it's in all of us or something. Yes. But early on, she says that to Shauna, and like during the seance. And I swear she was like pointing at her stomach or looking at her stomach.
I think she did too.
Yeah. So I want to know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Like, is it the woods are inside her? Is that
right? Like, that really creeped Shauna out when that happened too. Like, Lottie was touching her, and Shauna like jerked back, like how, like, does she know that I'm pregnant? Like, does she have special powers where she can see into the future?
Right. Yeah. And one thing we didn't touch upon is the impact of the baby on, Shauna's adult character, right? Like, I feel the baby.
I would like to know a little bit more about Jeff's life after high school. I mean, did he go to college? Did he have big ambitions?
They look so young in their wedding photo, like they look so young in their wedding photo. Like, how soon after the crash did they get married? I mean,
I think it was 5 years because when they're at brunch with Jackie's parents, she said, you guys have an anniversary coming up soon. And then when Ty shows up at Shauna's house and acts like she's just in the neighborhood, Shauna makes a remark saying, well, that's a nice surprise after 20 years. Yeah. And I'm assuming that means that if Shauna got married, Taissa was there. And that's supposed to be the last time they saw each other.
Right. That makes sense.
There was also a wedding announcement too in those search results. And I want to say it was around that it fits that time frame.
Yeah.
Okay. So 5 years, like, what happened in that 5 year?
Yeah.
The 5 year gap? Were they together the whole time? Were they dating other people? Was Jeff just like so happy that Shauna was rescued? He's like, oh my God, let's get married. And I mean, and how did they explain that to like Jackie's parents, like back then initially, I mean, that must've been kind of an abrupt, oh, hey, like, I mean, they could probably see it as that's just their way of, kind of coming together and being able to mourn the loss of Jackie together, and they have that in common. But, that must have been a tough subject to broach to Jackie's parents. By the way, me and Jeff are getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were at the wedding.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting to know for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like Shauna would have felt like she had to invite them, right? Like, especially, they keep up the brunch and all that stuff. I can't see them snubbing Jackie's parents for the wedding.
No, not at all.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
And who was her maid of honor, do you think, by the way? Like, you think Ty was the maid of honor? Just speculating.
Maybe it's possible.
It's the only person we know that was actually at her wedding. And I mean, does Shauna even have any other friends? It sure does not seem like it.
No, it doesn't seem like she has friends at all. Like,
yeah. I mean, she did, like, she and Ty did get super close in the woods. So it's possible. I mean, if anyone was going to stand up in her wedding, like.
And as adults, they fall right back into that relationship. Like when Taissa goes over to Shauna's house because she can't sleep, like she goes to Shauna back when they're in the wilderness and the whole sleepwalking starts and confides in her and tells her, like, I'm afraid to go to sleep. And she goes back to her for the same thing. And it's like they just are right back where they were out there.
Yeah.
In the wilderness.
That relationship is just so real and raw, and the healthiest relationship I think we see among the adult Yellowjackets. And, we'll touch more upon that in our Ty deep dive. But, Ty knows all of Shauna's secrets and Shauna knows all of Ty's secrets. And they have a whole different relationship, obviously, than with Misty or Nat. So,
I mean, Ty was the only one that knew that Shauna was pregnant out in the wilderness too. Like she put it together and she kept her mouth shut. Like she didn't say anything.
Yep. Oh God, that abortion attempt scene still just like gets me every time. And we do have that Roe vs. Wade episode we're going to be putting back into Patreon soon. So if you missed that one, we did cover that that very powerfully well-written scene that I think impacted all of us and was very difficult to watch, but very necessary, especially given the current climate of things in our country.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and man, hats off to Jasmine Savoy Brown during that scene. She was so good.
Yeah, they both acted their butts off.
They both were fantastic.
Yep. Yeah. And, with that, Shauna made the decision she wanted to attempt the abortion, but, she stopped it because she didn't want to die. But was it more that she didn't want to die or she didn't want to kill the baby? Like there's two different things at play there. Because it seemed like, or maybe she was doing what she thought was best because she figured, oh, I'm going to miscarry anyway. I should do what's best, for the baby. So, did she really not want the baby or did she just not want to die? It's hard to say. I mean, the state of mind and hormones and all that stuff.
I can't even imagine.
I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. But that scene is like one of the most powerful. And, the decision was made right then and there that, the baby's going to live. So, I mean, that also leads me to believe that the baby is still alive.
Yeah, that's a good point that they didn't go through with the abortion, so they let the baby have a chance at life. So that's a good point. So why would they kill the baby off if they weren't going to do it then?
Yeah.
Right. And it'll be interesting if the baby does survive and we see it to see Shauna's relationship with it. Is she going to be like attached and protective of it? Is she going to be so detached and, suffering from postpartum depression? It's going to be interesting to see, first of all, when we see the baby. Like, do we see it in season 2, season 3?
I read in an article by Variety that the showrunner said that we will get answers as to what happens to the baby in season 2.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic.
Sooner rather than later. I like that. Yeah. I bet that's how they'll end. I bet that'll be the finale of season 2. Like they went big with the finale of season 1, with Jackie's death. I can totally picture like the birth of the baby being the cliffhanger they leave it with in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good possibility.
Ooh, but gosh, so we're gonna have answers. So this is great. All this speculating.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait, to finally have the answers. And I think we're all on that page, right? Like answers what happened to the baby. But again, we know they don't eat the baby, thank goodness. So that is the one thing we know for sure. That baby is not going to get eaten. So
yeah. Yeah, thank goodness. That would God, that's not a whole lot of meat either,
Yeah.
No.
Right?
No,
right?
Even like the chunkiest of babies, which this baby is probably going to be like pretty small. Like I would guess like a 5-pounder maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Or less. And obviously there's no, they're in the wilderness and Misty fucking Quigley is the OBGYN on call, as Shauna mentioned. So, and she has the dreams of having the food baby and, you know, all these
Yeah.
different things. It's, you know, the baby is definitely one of those things that we don't know, but hopefully
I want
we
to
will
know
soon.
if there's like some kind of connection with Natalie too and the baby. Because you know, like the cult has a seems to have a vested interest in keeping Natalie safe for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? It's really there's so much to think about.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, if like let's say like Misty had something to do with, you know, sacrificing or killing the baby, like Shauna wouldn't even talk to Misty in the current day. So like
Oh
I
no.
feel like
That's what I was thinking.
we can safely say that like Misty probably was not involved in the death of the baby if the baby did die or was sacrificed or something, because you know Shauna would never speak to her again, I would imagine. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see, you know, if the baby is with Lottie, how's that going to shake out between Shauna and Lottie? I mean, is that baby coming back and also gonna get Shauna? And why does it go for Nat first? You know, I mean, again, like, why is the cult going for her first? What do they want with her? Obviously, something. They're not just protecting her from killing herself. What is it that they want with Nat? And did they
Yeah.
try to get whatever it was from Travis and it didn't work? And now, you know, they're coming after them one by one.
I think I personally think that Natalie getting in touch or just finding out that Travis was out there, finding out his location, his whereabouts, and getting in touch with him. I think that's ultimately what killed him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That makes
They
sense.
they did not want Natalie
To find
with
him. Yeah.
But why? But why?
Yeah. I don't
Why,
know.
Kelly? Why?
I know.
Why?
There's so much to think about. And that's why I'm convinced Ty's involved.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we'll talk about that more next week.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Yeah, our Thai deep dive is going to be next. We've actually got a whole slew of episodes lined up that will be dropping. Some of them will be Patreon bonus content for our patrons. That's one of our tiers. We're still kind of making some final adjustments on the Patreon, but we plan to launch that very soon. We want to make sure, you know, we get it right and are offering some awesome incentives. And, you know, also just a quick moment of appreciation to everybody who's watched, who's listened. We're getting close to 10,000 downloads, which we are super excited about. So to everybody, you know, who's supported us in any way, whether it's with a merch purchase or watching, listening, or interacting with us on social media, like we love this fandom so much. We love creating content and thank you. You know, it's nice to have like a nice little, like, this is our own book club in a way, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's really, it's great. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.
Like you said, it's like we're just chatting with girlfriends.
Yeah.
And you know, we've got so many great ideas for patron parties, and you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you're here, you have a lot of things to look forward to.
Yes. And, you know, if you would like to support us with a merch purchase, you can get our merch at antlerqueenspodcast.com. We've got some cute designs. We've got our Wiskayak Yellowjackets shirt. We've got our Peace, Love, and Yellowjackets, Antler Queens, There's No Book Club, Doom coming. We've got our logo, we've got citizen detective stuff, all kinds of good stuff. And you know, we're gonna drop some more designs soon. Oh, and let's not forget, here, let me grab that one, our MFQ gear, which we love, the notorious MFQ, you know, who we just covered. And then we have our Justice for Biscuit design, which was recently launched. So yeah, antlerqueenspodcast.com. We'd love for you to you know, rock some of our merch. Oh, and again, don't forget to follow us on Instagram because we will be going live Emmy night. So, you know, just kind of stay tuned. Make sure you follow us at the Antler Queens and join us. Hey, maybe we'll bring a fan in. I mean, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. So
that would be a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, I feel like we covered Shauna's baby pretty thoroughly. Any other final thoughts, girls?
I don't think so. I think we got it all out
No.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, again, if there's something that we did not cover or you'd like to chime in, you know where to find us. Drop a comment. We're going to be involving fans more in these episodes. We've got Oscar joining us for our Thai deep dive next week, which we're very excited about. And thanks for being here. And, with that, hey, Kelly and Emily,
Hey, Melanie.
What?
buzz off.
Buzz off.
Buzz off.
Antler Queens out.